Well, Egypt's president says he's going to leave in September, but that's not soon enough for hundreds of thousands of protesters in Cairo's Liberation Square who say they're not going to leave until Mubarak does. Now, the president of the United States just spoke a little while ago. He said there must be an orderly and peaceful transition to elections in the fall. He was careful not to push for a specific outcome, but he did say now. The transition has to begin now. What's most bizarre to us through all of this is the attempt to paint the Muslim Brotherhood as a group of reformers who can solve this mess. The Obama administration has reached out to them, and major media outlets paint them in a rosy light. Others say we are seriously underestimating their ruthlessness, including our next guest, Dr. Michael Youssef, who was born in Egypt and is the founder of the Christian ministry Leading the Way. Also, Mike Baker, former CIA covert operations officer and president of Diligence. It's a global security firm. Dr. Youssef, first to you, if I can. I'm amazed. I see these reports on CNN, on MSNBC, saying that the Muslim Brotherhood are a group of courageous people that are not interested in power. CNN actually said that they just like to operate behind the scenes, and this is not going to be a power grab by then. What do you say to those reports?
It's depressing, isn't it?
It's weird.
The truth is, it's smacking against history and the very statements and the very vision and the mission of the Muslim Brotherhood, which started back in 1929 by a man named Hassan al-Banna. Later on, the successor, a man by the name Sayyid Qutb, who was actually killed by Nasser. And the problem is they have been wanting to take control of power in Egypt back then in the 20s. And then they work with whomever they think is going to get them to power. So they thought those officers, the free officers were called under Nasser, they're going to get them to power. So they worked with them. But Nasser outwitted them and put them all in prisons and ran his socialist government. And then when Sadat came on the scene, who did not have much love for Nasser, thought that they come out of the prison to help him to erase Nasser's
But Doctor,
socialist
forgive me
agenda.
for interrupting, but I want to cut to the chase here. The bottom line is that if they are a part of any government that results from the downfall of Mubarak, is that going to be positive or negative?
They cannot be part. That's the point. They will never be part of anything. They're going to take control. They might put some stooges up front, or well, like the communists will call them, useful idiots, like al-Baradei and others. They'd be up front like Khomeini did with Abul Hassan Bani Sadr. Remember him in '79. And once they come into the power and they're going to have an election like Hamas had an election, and they will win, they will immediately, you know what they're going to do with those people.
Yeah, they're probably going to slit their throats.
Because they cannot be part of power.
Well, Mike Baker, the
over.
bottom line here is that the intelligence community must just be going nuts here, because they know very well exactly what these people have been up to for many decades, as the doctor just told us. They must know that they're connected with Al-Qaeda and with a whole lot of other bad terrorist groups all over the world. And here you have back-channel communication between the White House and what they're doing. Is that right?
Well, it's not right, but it's symptomatic of any crisis like this, and you're always dealing with an imperfect situation. The problem is, Dr. Youssef's got it absolutely right, and to extend what he was saying, the Muslim Brotherhood is a very sophisticated organization. I mean, it's 83 years it's been going, and there is a level of political understanding within that group. Now, it's also a complex organization, and there have been disagreements within that group, and now what we're seeing is we're seeing the mainstream media, and I think segments of the left and some people within the administration trying to point out those differences and saying, well, look, sometimes they're very moderate. Well, no. I mean, they're an organization that is driven by an ideology that is bent on Islamic rule. They're also
Islamic rule, by the way, also, Dr. Youssef, going to war with Israel. I mean, they have stated that just today, that Egyptians should prepare for a war with Israel, right?
Yeah. Their motto is the two swords, and underneath it says, get ready. Get ready for what? Get ready for being anti-Western, anti-Israel, anti-Christians. Yeah.
Right, and it's very interesting, because what we've seen is early stages of this crisis, as they brought in Baradei, and you didn't see the Muslim Brotherhood out front. People were taking that as oh, this is a positive. Look, they're not making a power grab. Well, of course they're not, because they're smart enough to understand that they have to work within the system. They're smart enough to know that if they got out front which is where they dearly love to be, but not right now. If they got out front, it would completely alter the dynamic of how Mubarak could deal with this problem.
Mike Baker, Dr. Michael Youssef, thank you very much, gentlemen. Very interesting stuff. Coming up on deck, the business of the blizzard.